What is the scariest email anybody can receive?
When the taxpayer received an email and subject line is Dear Taxpayer.
If there's any kind of a red flag or somebody notifies.
That is not a rumor. FTA announced in GITEX that they are using a AI-based machine learning for data analytics and tax compliance. The algorithm is going to flag a mismatch across your filing, and it's going to do that before even a human auditor opens your file. Every business has a story. The main question is that whether your compliance document can support your story when somebody asks to see them.
Most people hear the word tax and immediately think of forms, deadlines, and compliance. But every now and then, you meet someone who takes a subject most people avoid and makes it interesting. And my today's guest is one of those people. She's a tax agent, advisor, speaker, and one of the most recognized voices in the UAE's taxation landscape. But what caught my attention wasn't her credentials. It was her ability to turn complex financial concepts into stories that people actually understand and remember. So here we are with the most famous Alia Noor. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome aboard.
My pleasure.
And this time we have started a little bit different. Usually we start from Dubai Marina Canal, but this time we have all of this JBR Skyline behind us. So what is your take on this one? Do you see pure luxury when you see the skyline?
I think this is the postcard view of Dubai.
Postcard?
Yeah.
What do you mean postcard?
See, when you're in an advisory, you look at skyline a little bit different. When I see the skyline, I think what sits behind it? The investors, the structure, governance, and compliance.
So what do you mean by that? That you see compliance and raw laws and regulations. So it means that tax agents or tax consultants, they don't see the world like a common person sees that?
We do, but it's a little bit different.
That's a good news.
Yeah. It's a little bit different because we investigate stories automatically.
Okay.
When someone says it's a simple structure, our mind immediately notes it's definitely not a simple structure. So that's why our mind works differently.
Tax agents are always skeptical. They don't enjoy life.
They do enjoy.
Like just a normal person, a normal person. I'm enjoying the view, but from a tax agent's point of view, this is actually giving me a different kind of perspective.
Yeah, but when you work in audit and compliance for several years, and that audit and compliance become part of your DNA.
That becomes your personality.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what exactly this is all about? Like a tax agent, mostly they're always into compliance?
No, tax agents are in tax consultancy. But for me, since I am for 1 decade, sorry, not 2 decades. That is, I would be too old for that one. So for last decade, I am working in tax compliance and audit. Tax consultancy. So that's why I'm a mixture of both. So that's why when I give presentation,
both sides of the table. So you know what exactly is
that's why when I give presentation on taxation, my taxation themes are based on Sherlock Holmes or
what I wanted to ask you. Like,
yes.
Like to most of tax agents and tax consultants, I ask them like, literally, I want to know why do you make that tax very boring for us? But when I saw your presentation, so you have Dragon Slayer, you have James Bond. That's my favorite. I forgot about that. So you had all of these themes. So how did that come to you into your mind that's how tax can be presented as well? It's not just boring. Like, see, this is the law, this is law, this is regulation, this is regulation, and this regulation says that.
Exactly.
Plus, minus, divide this. Seriously, exactly. I'm already lost.
Actually,
so what came into your mind?
I have found that people don't remember legislation, but they do remember stories. Stories. And every business has a story. So tonight, we are going to discuss some of the interesting stories in the UAE
to hear all of those stories.
Behind the scene.
Great. Really excited to listen to all of those stories. So this is it. Now I think we should be enjoying this view.
Yes,
and then we can move forward to
yes,
we can move forward to the rest of the conversations. Just another question came into my mind before we leave here and we go into Dubai Marina Canal, and that's another mesmerizing view over there. So everybody knows Dubai is a metropolitan city. A lot of people, they come over here. A lot of investors, they come over here. And otherwise, Dubai makes everything look very easy. So what do you think, like most of the international businesses, they come over here and they learn a lesson in a much harder way, or the kind of mistakes they make?
Yeah, the most amazing part is that they get surprised because they have a mindset that there is no tax. And if it's a tax-free, that means it's a compliance-free. But the reality is the opposite. Because
that's a very good point. Like tax-free, but not compliance-free.
Yes, that's the point.
Yeah.
So what happened is that earlier people focus on establishing or incorporating companies in the UAE. But now regulators are focusing on how these companies are actually operating. So here is the intersection that their misconception. They thought that we're going to invest and it's a tax-free jurisdiction, the lowest in the GCC, lowest in the European Union.
They can go and they can do whatever they want, but that's not the case.
That's not the case because an interesting thing I will tell you that it's not about only the taxation. It's a three-corner model. The FTA, the Ministry of Finance, and web has weaving a web of compliance.
So what's the three-corner model?
That's my innovation. What I call it three-corner model.
Three-corner model. Okay.
One model is that you have to register for the corporate tax, okay, irrespective of revenue or trade license, any activity. You will register and you will file the return. Either it's payable or it's nil. Second corner is that in recently, a few months back, Ministry of Finance had made tax evasion part of anti-money laundering.
Oh, wow.
So that means that every tax consultant, every auditor is responsible to check the red flags arising from the tax evasion. And the penalties of tax evasion, obviously, it's a part of anti-money laundering law. They are on the same level.
Yeah. So it means that a lot of people, they come over here and they think that they don't have to follow any kind of compliances. So tax-free is something else that you have.
The reality is different.
The reality is different.
And there is another third corner. Third corner is that in various jurisdictions, when you file the tax return, there is nothing about reporting of the auditor. But in UAE, when you submit your corporate tax return, you have to upload audited accounts. It's not mandatory for all, wherever the criteria meets.
Yeah.
And you have to upload their name as well. The company name.
Auditor's name?
Yes, it's a qualified or unqualified report. So it's a three-corner model. The auditors, tax consultants, and anti-money laundering experts all are covered. So the UAE has, that's why I say they have weaved gradually a web of compliance.
I want to ask a lot of questions. Same conversation we'll start from, but let's go into Dubai Marina Canal and we'll start our conversation over there.
Sure.
So here we are now in Dubai Marina Canal, one of the famous places in Dubai and one of the luxurious and most beautiful places in Dubai as well. Right? But,
no doubt.
But my question is totally opposite to that. What is the scariest email anybody can receive?
Interesting.
Beautiful, and then something which is scary.
It's scary when the taxpayer received an email and subject line is "Dear taxpayer." The blood pressure rises automatically. You don't need to do anything.
Only for taxpayers?
Not for taxpayer, for everyone. Especially for accountants.
Really?
Yeah.
How for accountants?
Because they're the one who is responsible for management behalf of filing the corporate tax. Tax consultant roles comes when you acquire services of a tax consultant. Otherwise, it's management, it's business responsibility to have documentation in place to file compliant tax returns.
Exactly. It's the accountant's responsibility to make sure that company is compliant with all the rules and regulations.
The penalties are imposed on the businesses.
So considering that, so what exactly are kind of mistakes, the common mistakes you think that businesses or business owners, they make?
They ignore the issues. There is an elephant in the room. And
ignore issues?
Yes. Every company has an elephant in the room that they ignore. And now you're going to ask what is the elephant in the room.
It's actually difficult to ignore an elephant in the room.
Yes, it's a big elephant. But people
But it's shocking that people, they don't really realize
it's
that.
invisible because these are undocumented transactions. Related parties, nobody wants to disclose. Verbal agreements. So people have a habit, that's a psychology that they think that avoiding uncomfortable discussions will delay the consequences. But on the contrary, it accelerates the consequences.
Wow. Exactly. That's the point. I believe like most of the people, they're just focusing on those minute things and they ignore the bigger effect.
Exactly.
Do you think that's happening?
Yeah. That's when they trigger the Sparrow principle. Do you know what is a Sparrow principle?
What was Sparrow principle?
Okay.
Sparrow principle.
It's Sparrow principle. It's very interesting. Listen carefully. Huh? I'm
all ears.
Yes, you need to be. Okay. It's interesting, very interesting historical story and a real story, not a fabricated one.
Okay.
In late 1915s, Chairman Mao in China, he thought that sparrows are eating too much grain.
Okay.
So he ordered entire population to systematically destroy all sparrows.
Okay.
They destroyed the nest, they banged the pots, and virtually on paper, they were able to wipe out all the sparrows and solve the problem.
Really?
Sounds brilliant, no?
Wow.
Does it?
Yes, it definitely does.
But what happens next is the interesting part. What happens next is the most famous, one of the most famous historical lessons of unintended consequences. Without sparrows to eat the insects, the lotus population exploited and it wiped out all countries' crops. Which created
so they were actually looking at just one problem, but they didn't see the consequence of that.
Exactly, which created a nationwide food crisis. So they focused on one problem and accidentally they created a much bigger problem.
So that's when Locust comes in the company?
Yes, it comes. So when it comes at the if management, for example, if management wants to drastically slash their corporate tax liability by artificially increasing their salaries, management fees, bonuses, on paper, they will be able to reduce their corporate tax liability or even
net
drop
profit
it.
And ultimately.
Or maybe they will be able to drop by zero.
Oh.
But what happens is, you know what happens? See?
I want to know how.
The Locust arrives and the FTA algorithm highlights those transactions. FTA audit is triggered. You got an assessment. Your expenses are disallowed. So eventually you try to reduce your tax liability for a minor amount and you created a bigger tax problem.
So you're saying that there's a system which identifies that there's some problem. And the authorities actually using that kind of a technology.
Exactly, yes. This is why that's an interesting question. Now, that is not a rumor. That is not a rumor. FTA announced in GITEX that they are using a AI-based machine learning for data analytics and tax compliance. So what happened is that if your data story doesn't reconcile or matches with your submission across the Mara portal. I mean the VAT returns, corporate tax returns, and the disclosures.
In simple words,
The algorithm is going to flag a mismatch across your filing, and it's going to do that before even a human auditor opens your file.
Wow. Never thought that this was happening. I thought it's just random. Or if there's any kind of a red flag or somebody notifies, only then these tax audits are happening.
It's not like that. FTA, it doesn't pick your name from a hat. Whoa. They have an advanced machine learning system. It's not like that. They're going to catch you from there. Draw. Yes, it's not a lucky draw. It's a systematic thing.
Okay. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Let's enjoy the view a little bit because here we have all of this, the famous Dubai Marina Mall, surrounded by all of these yachts. So talking about the audits and the preparation. So What exactly is the tenure? Like, how many months or years FT can come and they can audit your accounts?
Like it was always been like 5 years, but now as per new decision, they have extended to it can be up to 15 years.
Really?
Based on certain criteria, you fail to register or you're caught of hiding some data or some information. So
So that
technically,
can go up to 15 years.
yes. And you can imagine businessmen are looking only this quarter, but FTA is looking at generations.
Exactly. After 15 years, that's what's going to happen.
Yes. So the crux is that if your books are in messy today, it is going to haunt you well in 2040s.
Almost 15 years. Yeah. So do you think like, obviously everybody's a human being and business owners are also human beings, accountants are human beings. So can we give that kind of an excuse to the authorities that was an honest mistake or something?
You can try, but the penalty email you will receive will not be honest mistake.
Really? Well, that's actually scary.
It is.
It can go up to 15 years and then it can haunt you till generations. So do you think, we know that Dubai is growing and UAE is growing in particular. And that's the way that operating a business has also changed now. Like how you used to operate businesses 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And now things have changed. With all the advancement in technology, we have a lot of new tools, AI. So what do you think at the moment, most of people, either they lack or they don't want to go there or they're not ready to change? So do you think something is happening in the market?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Have you heard of baby camel story?
Now there's a baby camel story as well.
Yes.
We just heard about Sparrow effect and now we're going to learn
we are
about...
not talking about, don't ask me that we are talking about livestock. Huh? This is not about the livestock. So it's all about how you train your baby camel.
Okay. What's that?
So what happens is that then...
How can I train that?
Yeah, I'm telling you. When camel was a baby, the handler ties him to a little tiny wood pack in the ground with a flimsy rope. So he tries to pull away, but he can't. So he stopped struggling, stopped trying. So years later, when the baby camel grows and it becomes so strong that he can pull away that wooden pack in one stroke, but he doesn't do it. Because
that's
he thinks,
effect.
Psychologically, he thinks that that wood pack has control over me. His mindset is tied up with the past experience. That's what happened with some businesses, that they gradually change themselves at the end when they receive the penalty. Before that, they have a precedence practice. They keep on going. They know when the FTA will come, then we will submit the documents. We are not concerned about it, especially transfer pricing, benchmarking. Okay, we'll see you when the time comes. You just file it. We'll take the responsibility. So this is the problem, that because this is the era, you have to fix the things first, not at the later stage. So those companies who act proactively, they have
procrastination, laziness, avoiding things, and just thinking that you have already controlled one thing and then there are no consequences. So all the business owners, all the businesses, all the accountants, they have to be ready that yes, they have to comply. They have to always be vigilant what exactly is happening if there's any kind of change in the laws. So that's actually applicable in their businesses.
True.
And that's how they can stay compliant.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, we have discussed about all the compliances and the mistakes a lot of businesses they make and how they can make themselves ready. I know that obviously because I'm part of this industry, this market, and I know that some of these startups, or you can say small businesses, there's a small business relief for them. So do you think that small business relief, that's kind of a permanent safety net for all of those businesses, which are startups or small businesses?
These small business relief are definitely a safety net, but they are not a permanent one. They do have a very clear expiration date.
And what's that?
That is, that small business relief is applicable for financial years until 31st December 2026. Those companies who are relying on small business relief and have not built their system on accounting records, or proper compliance.
Yeah.
They should start doing it for the smoother transition.
So 31st December 2026, that's a deadline.
26th, the deadline.
Oh,
If
after
they
that, there's no
do,
relief?
if they don't do that, then they will have a very nice shock of awakening in 2027.
That we have already discussed, that the scariest
Yeah.
emails.
Yeah.
Fine. So, considering, and
Mhm.
yes, we are talking about all the compliances. There's another talk of the town these days, especially, which is e-invoicing. And it's
True.
recently, and thanks to the authorities for giving much more room to most of the businesses that, yes, you have further days to prepare yourself. So tell us about those extensions and how that's impacting businesses.
See, that extension, some people assume that they should relax now. October is a gift. It shouldn't take it as a granted. It's
Exactly.
not,
That's actually a gift.
Yeah, it's a gift for those businesses who are not ready yet to acquire any ASP service provider, because the implementation date is still 1st January 2027 and it hasn't moved by even a single day.
Okay. Fine. So it's just that you have to appoint an ASP, which is accredited service providers. So you have to appoint
for those companies whose revenue is more than 50 million.
50 million dirhams.
Dirhams.
Revenue sales are more than 50 million dirhams. Okay. Wow. That's actually very much informative, that most of the companies, if you feel that now it has been extended, so that date where actually that's applicable on most of the businesses.
You should enjoy the gift, but don't take it for granted and don't relax too much.
Thank you so much for the wonderful conversation. And for me, that was not just the conversation, but that was information as well. And that's how most of the entrepreneurs and business owners, they can run their businesses, be compliant if they want to be happy at the end of the day. So what's the one takeaway you want our audience to get from this whole conversation?
The one takeaway?
Considering the time constraint, I know that I want to get a lot of information from you, but just one takeaway for now.
Compliance is no more a year-end task. It's operational, mandatory activity which should be embedded in their transaction, in their system, in their controls.
Yeah.
The era of fixing later and doing now is gradually coming to an end.
Yeah.
So main question is that every business has a story. The main question is that whether your compliance document can support your story when somebody asks to see them.
That what matters the most, that if your stories, if your numbers are supported by some evidence, that would matter the most for a party.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for this wonderful conversation.
It was my pleasure, and it was a very unique experience from boardroom to boardroom.
Exactly. Thank you so much. It was wonderful having you over here. Thank you so much for watching this whole episode, and I'm sure that this will be very much informative for you as well. And if you really enjoyed the conversation, so go and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share with somebody who you think will be useful too. Thank you so much for watching.